Hey guys, good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's Daryl here. It's 10 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Just got back off my bike ride and I am fired up. Man, stick with me here. I got something to talk about. For those people that are talking about that $1,400 being a handout, stick with me. For the people that are talking about woke culture and cancel culture and all that crap, stick with me. Because I've been thinking about that last video I made, right? And I was like, man, I didn't even scratch the surface. And I got something to talk about. Okay, let me say first of all, I felt bad. As soon as I watched that video, I realized that in my head, as I'm trying to remember everything I want to talk about, I'm picturing everything in my head. And I talked about the boomers. And what I was actually picturing in my head were the Trump voters, the people that voted for Trump, the people that I see around here that I know voted for Trump. And I was picturing that in my head, them going to the polls and voting and the conversations I've had with them. But when I watched the video, it came across as like I was talking about boomers in general. That's how I think it looked. And I feel bad for that because a lot of my viewers are my age. I'm just 2 years shy of being a boomer myself. And I had no intention of casting dispersions on boomers whatsoever. When I was talking in that video, I was picturing conservatives and Trump supporters. I should have been a little more clear on that, and I apologize to you guys. I mentioned something about dinosaurs, and even when I said that, I was picturing, the antiquated way of thinking. MAGA, Make America Great Again. This make-believe picture they have in their heads of going back to some pretend 1950s Father Knows Best universe. That's what I was picturing in my head when I talked about dinosaurs. I wasn't talking about the physical age. So I felt terrible about that. All right, enough apologies. Now I want to tear some new ones. All right, let's talk about Let's talk about Tucker Carlson. Let's talk about Ted Cruz, Sean Hannity. These whiners now talking about how they're being canceled. I'm being canceled everywhere. I can't say anything. I can't talk about the colored folk no more. I can't say anything about them homosexual folks or them transvestites. So they feel like they're being picked on. Okay, let's just go back 4 years ago to the land of Donald Trump. Remember Colin Kaepernick? I was like, I can't believe I didn't mention Colin Kaepernick. Remember Trump? Every single time. If anybody crossed him, that bully SOB, if anybody crossed him, he would say that, their magazine's going out of business, their show's going out of business. He literally, that was his MO, canceling people, anybody that talked against him. Let's look at Colin Kaepernick. Get that SOB off the field until he was actually let go. I'm not a big sports fan, but he was let go, and he basically had no more work, even though he was a good football player. And then there was the burning of the Nikes. Remember that? Don't buy the Nikes. I remember these Trump supporters burning the Nikes that they had already paid for. That kind of... it kind of defeats the purpose of the boycott. You know what I mean? You pay the money, so the money goes to Nike, and then you set your own possessions on fire. That'll teach Colin Kaepernick. Man, I can't believe I didn't talk about that. All right, so back then, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, why? Because Colin Kaepernick was disrespecting the flag and the police and the law and order and the great military of our country. That great military and those police. Are those the same police, those Capitol Police? Like the Capitol Police that were just sprayed with the bear spray? They're now doing autopsies on that officer that died. There's a good possibility that it was the bear spray sprayed on him that was part of the cause of his death. Is that what you're talking about when you're talking about Colin Kaepernick disrespecting the police and the flag and the great American military? Remember that? Remember how Colin Kaepernick was disrespecting our soldiers? Are those the same soldiers? Because right now, Ted Cruz is talking about going to the Marine Commandant and kicking some butt. He's going to kick some Marine butt. Because the Marines have been mean to Tucker Carlson, and it's just not fair. It's not fair that these Marines have been kicked. All of a sudden now, 6 weeks ago in January, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz couldn't talk about the great military and law and order and the police. Couldn't talk about more than all of a sudden now 6 weeks later, Ted Cruz is ready to go, beat up that military. That military's being mean to Fox News and Tucker Carlson. And Ted Cruz ain't having it. He's going to kick some Marine ass. I'm curious, any ex-Marines or Marines out there, what do you guys think about that? Because that's what Ted Cruz said. Google it. Ted Cruz plans on going to the Marine Command or Commandant. It was one of those things that as you guys know, the military isn't my forte. That's Bo the fifth column, but I know what I heard. And Ted Cruz is talking about going there and tearing the Marines a new one. So I'm just curious what you Marines think about that. And these are the same Marines the very same Marines that Colin Kaepernick was disrespecting by taking a knee. This was before BLM or any of that, back in 2016. Oh, why don't you guys remember there was a riot in Los Angeles? Oh, why don't you guys protest peacefully? So Colin Kaepernick takes a knee. No, not like that. That's wrong. That's disrespecting the great military and police. Man, look, I know there's hypocrisy in all sides of the political spectrum, but you guys take the cake. This is ridiculous. The more I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute. Donald Trump invented this didn't invent it, but he was a master at the cancel culture. Get that SOB off the field. Oh yeah, remember he was pressuring the owners not to hire him. You want to talk about canceling? Remember that? Trump was pressuring the owners of the FNL, the NFL, to just blackball Colin Kaepernick. If that isn't the height of cancel culture, why? Because he was a black man simply taking a knee and talking about something that was important to him. The interactions between police and black men in America today. He wanted to talk about it. He wanted to raise awareness about it. Freedom of speech. Oh no, we got to get that SOB off the field. And now you guys are crying about Mr. freaking Potato Head and Dr. Seuss. After you cost a man, Colin Kaepernick, he cost him his livelihood in the NFL. And you guys have the audacity to cry about Mr. freaking Potato Head being canceled. Zip it. Talk about snowflakes. Oh, man. You guys have a good Tuesday. I got more to talk about, too. For those people that are talking about these $1,400 stimulus checks being a handout, I did the calculations on how much somebody like me has paid into Social Security over the last 35 years plus. And I don't ever want to hear some 30-year-old lecturing me about, I've been swinging a hammer all day, and you guys are taking handouts, those $1,400 checks. Joe Biden, socialist, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, let me tell you how much people like me, my age, have paid into the system. It'll make you zip it. I'll be back with another video. You guys have a good Tuesday.